I made this. I recreated one of the coolest trains called
The Big Boy.
a real, incredibly strong and incredibly long steam engine. So how did I make this? Well, let me show you. Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. My name is Russ and today we are going to make something really cool. The Big Boy. And yes, that is actually the name of the actual train in real life. And it's one of the coolest trains I've ever seen. So that's why we are going to recreate it over here, and I have a nice flat land where we can actually start building. A lot of people are probably interested in which mods I use. And this is the full list of the mods that I have been using for this specific train build. So we have a really nice flat area over here, and it's, I think, the best option to make a railway first so that we can actually make the train on top of that. And the cool thing is I have some mods installed where I have different tracks. And as you can see, we have, for example, the monorail, but also we have wider tracks. And that's a really cool thing, because now we can actually make wider trains than the normal standard size of the track. So for example, we have this one over here, the white one. And you can see that this one is much bigger than the standard one, which is this one. As you can see, this one is much bigger, so we are going to use this one as well. This train is big, so we need a big track. Like this, now we have a nice long track to start with. And don't worry about this, you have seen nothing. And like all my trains, we start with a train station. And let's place it over here, like so. And create new train. I got my goggles on, so let's build this train. And here you have a reference picture on the screen of what we're actually going to make. We are going to start with the front bogie, of course. And as you can see, it's incredibly long. And the problem with that is that here on with the create mod, you cannot make these long, incredibly long front bogies. And also that has to do with these wheels, because there are only two types of wheels. We have this one and we have this one, as you can see. The front has two small wheels, and then we go to the back and then we have some bigger wheels. So I think we will use these ones then. These are a little bit bigger, as you can see. So before you have to suffer watching me make an insanely long train with an insane amount of bogies, I finally found out how to do it with less bogies. And yeah, so let's speed things up so you don't have to suffer. So I just did this, and then I found out if I press Alt, I can actually just choose the actual train tracks, or the actual wheels and all that kind of stuff. So I could have just done this. This makes it a lot easier. Although they seem to be invisible, which is interesting. Aha. So it seems that they only work on normal tracks and not the white tracks. That's why we didn't get them. Now I can rip this all out and we can start all over again. And let's do it like this. Yes, there we go. So now the train is a lot shorter than it otherwise would have been. And I think this is a much better length. The train is mostly black with round boilers, and the front is like gray for a part. And these are round, of course, and we luckily already have a mod installed from Steam and Rails that have these boilers. So that makes it a lot easier to make them, and I don't have to make something myself. So we can just plop these boilers on top. Now I think the boiler starts somewhere over here, so almost at the back. And then we have a long boiler of just black. And then the last part is gray, and I think it's something like this maybe. Yeah, something like that. That looks great. Now we have another mod installed, which is bells and whistles. And that is a cool mod because it has these really cool front like splitters, or whatever you want to call them. But the cool thing is we can place that over here. And it's right after these front wheels. So maybe one back, something like this. I think this is pretty good. Now this actual train has like huge piston or crankshaft housings over here and somewhere over there in the middle. And we don't really have any mods that allow you to make such things, but we can recreate them, and we are going to use the copycats blocks for that. I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I got it. So we have this, and if we then get this all in, there we go. And yes, that looks actually pretty good. So we have these really big, like whatever you want to call them, piston houses or whatever, like this. I think that's kind of the right size for it. It was pretty hard to actually make, but it's all out of copycat blocks. I swear, most of the time that I'm building this train, I'm just going through the whole list of all the blocks because there are so many. Cool, we have them now over here and here, which the train actually has. And we also have to, of course, copy it all to the other side. But let's just make first one half and then just copy it to the other side. These copycats are amazing, really. So what I did is the next step, which is using some copycat blocks, I make the like fake pistons and fake cranks and all that kind of stuff. Of course, these wheels already have them on their own, but I want to make it as close as the actual train, and it is much more bigger and heavier and all that kind of stuff. So that's why I used these copycat blocks to make these pistons. I still have to color them. It's getting there pretty nicely. And would you look at that? It looks a lot better now. So this was a lot of tinkering. I used a lot of different blocks and also really weird blocks. So some stacked raw iron from chipped, and also these are also from chipped, I think. Yeah, so it has a really nice color, but this part has to now be copied to this side over here, and of course on the other side as well. And there we go. Look at that. That looks absolutely amazing. So the only downside is, now that I see this side in the light, in the sunlight, it kind of looks a little too light in my opinion. So maybe I will change these colors up for maybe something more gray, a grayer color. Yes, this for now, this looks absolutely amazing. So now we have to continue, of course, on the top. We will go back to this later and see if we will change anything over here. But we have a lot of pipe and machine work over here that we have to recreate. And also we have the back cabin that should be sticking over here or be over here. And also the front is still not done. And then this is just the front. This is just the locomotive. Like, there's not even the carriages behind it or anything. It's just this. So yeah, this is actually more work than I actually thought. So welcome in my test world. It's just a flat world, and here I actually test some stuff. And as you can see, my first iteration of the actual train, just to test out what it would look like. And as you can see, this is the actual train that we have right now. And you can clearly see the difference. This one is much wider, but also a lot longer compared to the actual one that we are building on the main world. And what we are going to try out is to see how the steering goes if it goes throughout a corner. By the way, it's a bit laggy, and that's maybe because of all these trains. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen this one is on my channel already. So if you haven't seen it, then go check it out. It's a really cool train, cool monorail. And actually over there, you can see a little bit of a sneak peek of my next project, which is also going to be a really cool monorail. So I highly recommend to stick around so you won't miss this really cool video when it drops. Now the thing is with trains, with create trains, is that only 2 bogies may be connected with glue. If you go over 3, you cannot create the train. So you have to only glue 2 together or just leave 1 as it's separate. And as you can see, just the front of the train, just one big wagon, already has 4 bogies. And you can actually see what kind of problems it would have given if we actually made this train. Because yeah, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bogies just for the front. And here we only have 4. So that makes it a lot easier. Anyways, we want to make this turn, and the reason that we want to make this turn properly is because it is incredibly long. And we glue this whole line together, and actually let's glue the whole train as well, like this, and everything should be glued correctly. Now let's say that we want, this is the big beam. This beam is basically this whole like huge boiler. And let's say we are going to connect it to the front bogie, like over here. And when we go on the train and we go drive it and we go into a corner, you can see what will happen. This bogie over here will actually turn. And as you can see, it turns a little bit weird. This whole back sticks out and we don't want that. So how can we do this the best way possible? We have to kind of make it pivot in the middle, meaning that we should actually glue this bogie over here and this bogie over here together instead of the front two and the back two. So the middle two should be glued together and the front and the back should move on their own. So everything is glued together now. The front is separate, the two middle bogies are together and the last one is also separate. And let's place this beam on the middle one. So let's connect this beam with the middle bogies, as you can see. And now let's actually create this train, and as you can see it works. And now when we are going to make the corner, you will see that something completely different happens. As you can see, the last bogie is actually turning on its own. These two middle ones do not. And also in the front you can see that it a little bit swivels out of the way. So if we go a little bit further into the corner, you can clearly see what is actually happening. It only sticks out a little bit over here and it only sticks out a little bit over there. Granted that of course the bend is really big. I think this is the best way that we can actually glue this all together with the minimum amount of weirdness in this train. So back at the actual train. And I think we can now continue working on this train. And why not do this in a little bit of a time lapse? So let's see how far we can actually get before making it work. So enjoy the music.
From the top, let's go!
So, would you look at that? That looks absolutely fantastic. I am happy. So anyway, what I did was a lot. Actually, it's not completely done because we still miss a part in the back. And also some other, especially in the front, we miss some stuff. But other than that, I kind of finished the whole bottom section of the train. And it looks pretty good. And I'm also happy how the back turned out over here. Also the top, it looks exactly like the real one. And also this should be a bell. It isn't a bell, but yeah, it should mimic a bell basically. Other than that, yeah, it looks great. I'm really happy with how the design turned out. And we are far from done. Anyway, outside of the whole time lapse, I also did some off-camera work, and mostly, as you can see, I made a track. So if you press J, which is the map, you can see that I made a big track over here, just so we can actually drive around and check this thing out. But more on that later. It's not completely done. As you can see right now, it's just floating in the air. So I have to kind of make it look a little bit good. But yeah, this looks great. I'm really happy with how this train for now turned out. But we are not there yet. As I said, we still miss a little bit in the front. And also we still miss a part in the back. Also, before anyone asks, this is of course not a tutorial. I'm not showing block by block how to make this train, but there will be a schematic download one day. Right now I'm busy with making those kind of schematics, downloads and all that kind of stuff. So that will come in the future. Just keep an eye out for that. So if you want to check one of my builds out for yourself, then I highly recommend following along, and in the future they will be downloadable. So what are we missing? We are missing a part in the front. So we need to like make this a little bit higher, a little bit taller. I think the front standing like plateau or whatever you want to call it is about as high as over here. But yeah, we will continue on that. And also in the back, we need the control room, which sticks out a little bit and goes, I think, a little bit upwards over here. And then we have to make this whole cabin. And other than that, the whole front is completely done. Let's just first start with the front and make this part done. I must say, we don't get closer than this, I think. This looks absolutely phenomenal. Now, the only thing missing is the smokestack, but other than that, this looks absolutely amazing. So the back should be fairly easy, because it's pretty square shapes, so it should be pretty easy. The roof is a little bit like roundish, so we will use some of these slopes, these copycat slopes. And when we place these, we can then make them a little bit higher like this, and do this on the other side as well, and then put a the layer in between like so, and then we can raise that up to the same level, and now we have a little bit of a curved roof. And then the roof should be maybe, let's see, I would say 3 or 4 blocks long, maybe 4 blocks, I think, because the last block sticks out. So yeah, 4 blocks should be right. It should also stick out a little, so that's also correct. And also it seems that on the roof there is a little window, so we will put this one and make this one a window. I lowered it by 1/2, as you can see. So yeah, this will be a window. And let's see if we can find a nice color for the roof. And I think I found the perfect block. This is, yeah, that is basically perfect. And looking at the pictures, it actually looks like the roof is flat with the walls, which is, in one picture it doesn't look like that, and in another picture it does. So maybe we should just make it flush with the wall. In that case, we have a little bit more room on the inside. So we can make it this big. Will that look great? I guess so. I think that will look fine. And actually, when we use these boards, we have even more space than just half a block. So we can also use these. Now they have a window in the back. The 2 back blocks are basically windows, and most of the time they are just open. So instead we just do this, and we use the layers or something like that. Not the layers, we use the panels. And when we look from above, we can actually place panels like this, as you can see, which gives this line, and now we have an open area. And maybe something like this. This looks great. Now that this part is finished, we only have to copy this half to the other side, and then everything should be okay. And then we have a nice interior space, and we can actually put a seat in here and a train controller, and then we can actually drive this thing, which I am very excited about. So let's copy this part to the other side. And there we go. Now everything is copied to the other side, and this thing is actually done. This thing just looks absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to drive it. So that's exactly what we're going to do. And first we actually need a seat. So let's first do that, and we have a nice space right here. And now the most important thing is gluing this all together. Well, I hope I did it right. That was pretty hard. So let's see. And I did it wrong. Oh no. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, come on. Wow. So after many tries, let's click, and it works. It finally works. I tried so many times, but yes, finally, I glued it right. And it looks absolutely phenomenal. And now, as you can see, the smoke actually gets through, which is really nice. And now it actually works. So let's go and drive this thing. Press F5. Look at this amazing looking train. And yes, look at this. Look at this. This is awesome. And it works. Look at this. Look at this. It's awesome. And yeah, this is the only downside of this train. As you can see, it does some weird stuff if it comes to driving around. So I was actually wanting to check out what will happen when we go into a corner like this. And this is basically what happens. And yes, it looks a bit weird. But other than that, other than the turns being a little bit weird, other than that, this just works perfectly. And it is actually pretty fast as well. It just looks exactly like the train, the real life train, apart from a few little things. But other than that, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And I love it. So the only thing that we need is a few wagons on the back, and I don't know if I'm going to show how to make them. I'm probably gonna make really easy parts of them just to make this train look a little bit cooler. But of course, the whole video was about making this engine, this big boy, and it looks very cool.
From the top, let's go.
It works. It actually works. This train is awesome. It looks so incredibly cool, especially if you see it from afar driving around. This thing is just so incredibly cool to look at. Look at this. This is just so amazing. I really love how this train actually turned out. Even though it's so incredibly long, especially the first bogie, but this is just, look at how cool this thing is. But before we are actually going to drive it ourselves, first a quick announcement. I now officially have memberships on YouTube. Now these videos take a long time to make, especially as a small creator. Now anyone that watched my videos is already a huge support to me. But if you would like to show your support, then maybe you can consider to become a member. Now I created two ranks. We have the loyal member rank and we have the exclusive VIP rank. For both of the ranks you get special badges that you will see next to your name in the comment section or on a live stream, for example. Now these badges are in the shape of these trophies, and the longer you are a member, the more special of a trophy you will get next to your name. And I will make even cooler badges for the future. Also custom emojis put in the comment section or on live streams, and these will come soon as well. But for the exclusive VIP ranks you get a little bit more. You get a member shoutout. That means I will do a shoutout of you in my coming videos, and you will also be in a member shoutout list that will now be at the end of every single video. Also some exclusive pictures and project updates you will get with this rank. Now obviously this is not something you have to do. You can still watch my videos, you still get the same videos as everybody else. So don't worry, it's just a cool way that you can actually support me if you want to. And that's completely free, you don't have to, and if you don't, totally fine. So it's just there if you would like to support me. Anyways, with that said, let's drive this bad boy. I mean, big boy. So let's hop in. We can climb up and we have a nice little door that we can close. Let's sit here, press the handles, press F5, and there we go. Let's go. And yes, this is just incredible. See this thing turn? It's so incredibly long, but it turns very well and it drives very, very well. I really love this. I really love how it ended up. And all these big tankers on the back, it's just so cool. As you can see, we don't have any of the passengers like bogies. I didn't really bother making them because it was mostly about this front part, the actual engine itself. And it just looks incredibly cool. I'm really happy how it turned out. And let's park it back at the actual station. And let's close the door. And there we go. This was absolutely amazing to do, amazing to make. I'm really happy how it turned out, and I hope you guys also really like and enjoyed this video. Now, of course, everybody is going to ask me, is there a world download? Are there schematic downloads? And don't worry, those will come soon. I got a lot of these kind of questions in my last videos, and yeah, don't worry, I'm trying to make a mod pack that I can then share with all of you, as well as all the schematics for all the trains that I'm making. So I consider you to follow along because I will let you guys know when they're out, when the schematics and everything is out there to be downloaded. So anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching and all the nice comments and support on every video. Thank you all so much. The schematics and all of that will come soon. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.